Let's go, girls. Come on.
Hey guys, so I wanted to show y'all a super cool tool that I use in my workflow process for editing photos, and it has literally saved my life because I'm an overshooter, which means that I take a ton of photos whenever I do a photo session. Whereas, like, your typical photographer who's not an overshooter might shoot like 200 photos in an hour. I shoot like 1,000. And I think it's because I love getting those like in between moments so much, and a lot of times you kind of have to overshoot a bit to get that really perfect candid shot. But all of that aside, 1,000 images is a lot of images to cull. Cull is also, if you're not familiar, it's a word for edit or to sort through. So culling is getting rid of the images that you don't want so that you're left with images that you do want to edit. And so I found a super cool resource for that. You may have heard of it, and if so, you can totally exit out of this video because you're already aware. But if you haven't, it's a tool called Photo Mechanic, and it is so much better than Lightroom for culling because mainly if you're an overshooter. If you're not, you can totally cull in Lightroom and it's no big deal. But in Photo Mechanic, you're able to tag the photos as trash that you want to tag as trash, and I have it mirrored to where and I'll show you how that works. I have it mirrored to where I can go through and add them into Lightroom, and then Lightroom will only add the photos that I've not marked as trash or the ones I want to keep, and so it only imports those. So instead of importing 1,000 photos to Lightroom to edit and cull through, and then having to go, as I try to go to the next image, it be like lagging and being really slow and just taking forever. Photo Mechanic loads these like instant previews that help you be able to scroll through them super fast. So if you've ever tried to cull a lot of photos or get rid of photos in Lightroom and it's taken you like a day and a half, you will love Photo Mechanic because it does it so much faster. So I just want to show you how I do this. Here's a shoot that I have, right? And then I have this other window because I view them big whenever I go through them to see if I want to keep them or not. So there's a little bar down here, and this is the rating bar, and you'll see if I were to rate this as trash, how I have it set up in my preferences, and I believe it's somewhere up in here. Yeah. So 8 is trash, and then 1 is red. So if you're familiar with marking stuff as like marking them red as a keep in Lightroom, that's how I mark mine. And so I only use 1 and 8. And then I don't tag it as anything if I still want to keep it and not necessarily mark it as trash, but it's not a fave. Then I just don't mark it anything and it still stays and it'll transfer over when I drag them into Lightroom. But yeah, so I use 1 to mark it as like, oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite shots from this shoot, or this is like a perfect shot. And then 8 is trash. So you just set that up in your general preferences. That's just the way I have mine. There's so many ways that you can set this stuff up, but that's what works for me. So here is an image. So let's say if I wanted to mark it as trash, I would press 8. And if I press 8, it's automatically going to go to the next image. So you can see how fast that works, right? So like if I'm just like 8ing all of these, right? Like that's how fast. And these are raw files, so it's loading these super fast. So I can click through these. Like that's how fast I can view images, which if you have done this in Lightroom, yeah, no, like it takes literally forever. So let me run back through these and not mark these as trash because these are like not bad shots. Okay, so then I can just go through and hit 0 and that'll fix it. But if I wanted to mark it as a red shot, let's say, let's see what's really cute. This is cute. So if I mark this as a 1, if I go back to it, since like I said, it automatically goes to the next image, then you'll see this red tab down here at the bottom, and that means I've marked it as a 1. And so let's see if I pull up this window. Yes, so you can see how that's marked as red, and then up here you can see how these are marked with a bar. Like you can see how there's not a marking here, and then there's gray here. That means these I've labeled as trash, and these I've done nothing to. The ones that have no bar at the bottom, and then the ones that have a red bar are favorites. So yeah. So let's say, so after I've gone through the whole session, so these are a ton of images. I will go show you how many there is, but I haven't actually culled this yet. But if I were to select all of them, let's see what it would be. Okay, so if I were to select all of them and scroll down to the bottom, that's 854 photos, right? So that's like a lot. So after you go through and select all of them, you can go down here to the very bottom, and this is where you can view only the ones that you've rated. So what I do is I press this hide color class trash so that I can see how many I have narrowed it down to. It's not going to be very many right now because I haven't culled this session yet. I literally just shot this yesterday. So I have to go through and actually cull the whole thing, and I'll make another video for once I do that so that you can see how many it cuts it down by. But usually if I shoot like 800, I get it down to like 150. And so then I only have to import that 150 images into Lightroom instead of importing 854, right? That would take forever. So if you click this, it gets rid of it. So see, it only says 818 up here, and then if I click it again, it's 854, but that's how many I've narrowed just in the few minutes that I was like recording this video. So it can let you know, like, yeah, you can definitely have a ton more images to work with. So, or you definitely have, what in the world did I just say? You definitely are able to cut down so many images at like a really fast rate. So I'm super pumped about this tool. It is so great. But anyway, so let's act like I was done culling the session. I was gonna make a new catalog in Lightroom. So let me open up Lightroom really quick. Make sure this is the right Lightroom. Yeah. So we're gonna open up Lightroom, and then I'm gonna show you how to do this. So File. I'm gonna make a new catalog. Let's ignore these weird little thingies that always pop up. What? This is such a blooper. Look at this. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go back in Lightroom. We're going to make a new catalog. So the way that I label mine, Kersey and Kyle, and they are under couples. So Kersey and Kyle, create, boom. So then, this is something that's like super cool. So Adobe Lightroom Classic CC1 blah, blah, blah. Let's see. JV. All right. So I don't know why that happens. I got to figure that out. But here's a really cool thing. So let's say I'm going to make this really small so that I can pull this over here. And then, yeah, so, okay, perfect. So then all you have to do is drag this over like this. And then, yeah, okay, perfect. So here's an example. I'm going to show you how. See how these are checked and selected and these aren't? That's because these were rated as trash, so they don't get to carry over. So it'll look like you'll see all of these images over here as if you were going to actually import them all, but you're not, and it knows not to carry those images over. So these are carried over because they were either A, rated as like a 5-star image, or they weren't rated at all, so it knows not to get rid of them, but it just won't mark them as red. So then I would hit import, which I'm totally not going to do because that would import all of those images, and that's exactly what we're trying not to do. But I know if I were to go, let's see if there's one. I probably can't show you right now, but a really cool thing is that if I did rate it with a red bar, then that means that it would carry over. So that means that whenever I went over here to Smart Collections and colored red, if I hit that, all of the images that I colored red over here in Photo Mechanic will show up over here in Lightroom, which is super, super cool, and I love that because maybe I want to hurry up and get a sneak peek up, and as I'm culling through, I can go, oh, I love that shot. That shot's perfect, but yet then I can't find it because I've got so many images, right? So I go ahead when I'm culling and I mark it as red or hit number 1 on my keypad, or on my keyboard, and then I can easily find it once I import them all. So I can hit colored red, and then I can go in there and edit that shot and get it up really fast because I know exactly where it's at. So I hope that is super helpful. If you guys have any questions about Photo Mechanic, I would be more than happy to answer. I know this is pretty quick, but I wanted to keep it as a quick tutorial because, let's face it, sometimes long tutorials are difficult to watch and focus on. So that's a little bit about Photo Mechanic. If you want to ask me anything else, you can shoot me an email to jessica@jessicavickers.com, or just send me an Instagram DM or anything like that, and I would be more than happy to answer how I use Photo Mechanic and love it. Also, if you want to find it, it's from Camera Bits software, Camera BITS. So you can just type in Photo Mechanic in Google or Camera Bits Photo Mechanic, and I believe it's like, the software does cost money. It's not a monthly fee. It's a one-time fee. And I think I paid like maybe $100 or $150. Forgive me because I can't remember exactly. But Yeah, that's about how much I paid for it, and I would pay for that times 10 for the time that it has saved me, because like you can think about, this is just like an anniversary shoot or like a couple shoot, right? But imagine culling a wedding that fast. Like, oh my gosh, it would just, it's just phenomenal. Like that's how you can go through the images so quickly. So a wedding that would take me maybe like, honestly, several days if I was doing it nonstop, or weeks if I wasn't, to cull. Now I can cull an entire wedding in a day. Actually, a few hours, maybe like 2 hours, 3 hours to cull an entire wedding, because I'm an overshooter. If you don't shoot as much, it's not going to take you as long. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I hope it was helpful. Like I said, again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I hope you have an awesome, blessed day. Thanks so much for watching.